Hello everybody, and welcome to another empowering technology tutorial. Today I am going to teach you how to design your very first Hello World Android application. I'm going to try and do this without getting too technical and adding too much unnecessary information. Some of the things that we are going to cover in this tutorial: what software we're using, where you're going to get it at, how to download it and set it up, how to design your first Hello World application, and I'm going to also show you how to run your application on the Eclipse emulator that comes with the software package that we are going to download. A few things about the software that we're going to be using. We are going to be using the Java Development Kit, or the JDK 7. And we are also going to be using the Android SDK ADT bundle. Android has put together a nice, neat little bundle of software for beginner developers to get you started a little quicker and a little easier. It comes with everything that you're going to need. All of the platforms, including the most recent platform that Android has. It also comes with the Android development tools, comes with Eclipse and the ADT plugin. It comes with a debugger and the emulator. There are some pros and there are some cons to the Android emulator. The pros are you don't have to go out and buy 1,000 different devices. That's being a little extreme. I guess I mean you don't have to go out and buy, let's say, 10 or 15 devices to run your Android applications on. You can simply pull up the emulator, pick from a list of devices that they have on there, and run your application on the emulator. You can also create your own device from a list of preset options. Another good thing about the emulator is all the hardware is reconfigurable. You can set it to either have a camera, not have a camera, have an SD card, not have an SD card, or you can put how big of an SD card you want in it. You can refigure a lot of the hardware options. Pretty cool. And all of the changes that you make to the emulator are non-destructive, meaning let's say you design an application and before you run tests on it and really give it a good look, you download it to your cell phone or whatever Android device you may have, and it really jacks your phone up. Well, that is the good thing about the emulator, is you're not going to hurt anything by downloading your Android application onto the emulator. The cons to the emulator are it can be very slow and very frustrating if you're trying to hurry up and develop an application and test it out on the emulator. It does take some time for the emulator to load. It takes some time to load your application onto the emulator. That is one of the drawbacks. Another one of the drawbacks, some of the features are not available. Like there is no support for Bluetooth connectivity or USB connection. Also, the performance and the user experience can be misleading. And the last drawback is it's not an actual device. You're not going to know how your application really performs unless you put it on an actual device. Some of the advanced features of the emulator are you can change the network speed, you can change the battery power from full battery to running dead to being hooked up to a charger. There are a lot of different configurables that you can play with inside the emulator to see how your Android application will perform. You can also inject mock location coordinates, and you can set it up to receive incoming phone calls and text messages. You can also run two emulators simultaneously and have them interact with each other. So that's a few things for you to think about. It's pretty cool and it's pretty handy. Before we get started on actually installing the software that we're going to be using to develop Android applications, you need to make sure that your system is supported. You need to be running at least Windows XP. If you're using a Mac, It needs to be OS X 10.5.8 or later, and various Linux distributions will also work. For more information, you can see the website with the link that I provided to you on the screen. Let's go ahead and get started by downloading our JDK first. Here we are at oracle.com. We are going to download the Java SE Development Kit 7. You're going to scroll down, you're going to click on Accept License, and you're going to find your operating system over here in the left-hand side. Whether you're using a 64-bit or a 32-bit, mine is a Windows 64-bit, so I'm going to click on the JDK7 U55 Windows x64exe. It doesn't take long to download. Just follow the instructions. The installation wizard will take care of the rest. Also, you want to just use the default settings on the setup. All you need is the development tools. Go ahead and click next. Another thing I want to add too is when you download the JDK, it also comes with the JRE, so there's no need to install both of them. I've seen some tutorials where they actually have you go through and install the JRE first, and it's totally unnecessary. Just leave it to the default settings. Click next. On to the next part. We are going to download the Android SDK. Let's head on over there. This is the Android development website. This is where we'll be getting it from. Go ahead and click on this link over here. Actually, before you do that, I want to tell you, you need to read this set over here, setting up the ADT. This tells you exactly what to do. Click on download the SDK and scroll down through all this. If you're not sure if you're running 32-bit or 64, I would click on 32. You can still run that program. You cannot do it the other way around. Alright, let's go ahead and unzip this bad boy. Go ahead and double click on it. Click on extract all. And you're going to want to extract this to your C drive. So go ahead and browse it, navigate your way to your C drive, and click OK. Now, if you've done everything correctly, your ADT bundle should be securely installed on your C drive. Let's go ahead and open this up. This is where the fun part starts. And you're going to open up the Eclipse folder. You're going to scroll down to the Eclipse application and you will see the round Eclipse logo, purple logo. Click on that. We'll open this up, and this will be our actual Android developing environment that we're going to use. This is your workspace. This is where all of your projects are going to be saved. It should by default create a workspace for you, so just go ahead and click OK, and you can X out of this. It'll take a few seconds to load, and once it comes up, we will get started. Okay guys, this is your Android developing environment. This is where all the magic happens. This is where you're going to build awesome applications. You're going to debug them. You're going to run them on the emulator. So what we are going to do is we are going to start designing or developing our first Android application, our Hello World application. You're going to go to File, New, and you're going to come over here to where it says Android Application. Click on that. Okay. This is going to guide us through the basics of it set up. For the application name, I want you to type in Hello World. And for now, for this tutorial, we're going to keep it real simple, and that's all the farther we're going to go with this. Leave everything else set to the default settings and click next. We're just going to click right on through and click through again and go ahead and click finish. You're going to click right on through all the way to the end where you click on finish. We're not changing anything, leaving everything set to the default, and it is loading our new Hello World Android application. As you can see, it does take some time. It's not the fastest program in the world, but once you get used to working with it and you get comfortable with the software, things will move a little quicker for you. This is our Hello World application that we just created. And these are all the files that go with it. So what we are going to do is we are going to run our application on a emulated device. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, how in the heck are we going to do that? I'm going to show you. And it's fairly simple, although it will take some time for the emulator to load up. Once we create the virtual device, and I'm going to show you how to do that momentarily, keep in mind that it does take a few minutes for it to completely load. So don't get frustrated or think that it's not working. Just be patient and let it completely come up. You will know when it's done. The first time I did it, I thought it wasn't working, so I clicked out of it, I closed it down, and I kept redoing it, and I was thinking, man, this is taking a long time. And it does. It does. To create our virtual device, you're going to come up here to where you see the little Android robot on a device and click on that. Now, I already have a few of my own virtual devices created. You will not. So we are going to create one together so you know how to do it. So click on New, and this is where you set it up. You give your Android virtual device a name, and it can be anything, whatever you want it to be. For this, I'm just going to call it the tutorial device. Okay, now under device, follow along with me. We are going to use the Android Nexus 7, and for the CPU/ABI, we're going to use the ARM, and for the skin, we want skin with dynamic hardware controls, and we are going to give it an SD card. Let's go ahead and put 20 in for the value for later use, and go ahead and click OK. Now, you have created your virtual device. Mine is tutorial, yours is whatever you named it. So go ahead and click on whatever your virtual device name is and come down here and click start, and just leave everything alone and hit launch. Again, like I said, this is going to take some time. This isn't even the half of it right here. I am going to stop this video and come back when it's completely loaded. Okay, I think that about does it. It is up and running, and this is your virtual device, your emulated Android device. And it has some preset applications already in it. If you click this little menu button down here at the bottom in the middle, it will show you some of the apps that it already has installed on it. It is running 3G, and it is plugged into a charger and about half charged, 3/4, somewhere in that vicinity. Now, I am going to show you how to install your Hello World application on the emulator and run it. So let's go ahead and go back to the home, and let's minimize out of this, and you're going to come up here to the Hello World file that is open and right click on it, and you're going to scroll down to where it says run as and click on Android application. So this is your Hello World application on your Android virtual device, and if you say go to the back button and go into the applications, back into the applications, this is your Android application right here in the middle that we have created. Like I said, this is a very basic Hello World Android application. Single line command, but at least this gets you started. You now have all the software that you need. You created your first Android application, and this is going to be part 1 of a series that I'm going to put together for you. So please be patient with me. I'm going to try to make at least one tutorial per day and put it on YouTube. So if you subscribe to my channel, you will get notifications as I create the tutorials, and you can follow along. Also, I would like to say thank you for watching. I want to say this to you guys. If you are serious about developing Android applications and you seriously want to learn how to do it, and for whatever the reasons are, maybe you want to create certain applications for yourself, applications that maybe are tailored to your needs. Or maybe you just want to become a developer and develop applications for Android and Google. You are in the right place. Subscribe to my channel. I am going to put up at least one tutorial every day. This is going to be an in-depth look at developing Android applications. Take a look at the Android developer website. Look at some of their tutorials. Look at some of their sample applications that they have for you to play with. See what you can come up with. Another good thing to do if you're going to be serious about this and you want to learn as much as you possibly can, go on G+, join a community that has to do with developing Android applications. Ask questions. I can't stress that enough. Even if you think that it's a silly question, if you don't know the answer to it, then it's not a silly question. Ask. Feel free to ask me anything that you would like, and I will try to help you as much as I possibly can. You can email me directly, and in the subject, just put Android application question, and I will try to get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. That about wraps it up for this tutorial. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching my tutorials. Like I said, subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys.